Because if you have immediately at hand a weapon that can kill a lot of people in a short period of time, what then happens is that an impulse, a hateful impulse, is turned into a murderous assault.
Welcome to the Go Use Australia podcast. It's the podcast for Australian shooters who just want the political interference taken out of shooting.
So welcome to another episode of Gun News Australia, brought to you by Politics Reloaded and Gun Traders Australia. Now, you can support us by becoming a member of Politics Reloaded at our website at politicsreloaded.com or backing our work through Patreon at patreon.com/Politics Reloaded. And your support pays for everything we do, including the FOI challenges, the legal actions, and promoting the important messages that we put out for more and more shooters. And I have with me today Damon Matthews from WA. How you doing, Damon?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Now, you're a professionally qualified butcher of 35 years.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
You obviously need firearms in what you do. Just on a day-to-day basis, how do you use firearms? What would be a typical, pattern of usage?
Generally, I use them for dispatching whatever people want done, really. So, I mean, it can be from sheep to goats, cows, deer, pigs. So it all depends on what I've got on the day, to what guns I use. Circumstances don't always necessarily. So sometimes I've got to take a couple of different options because you rock up to someone's place and it's a new client. They don't necessarily have yards or facilities set up to contain the animals. So, you've got to be prepared for that as well. So, yeah, basically that's what happens.
Right. So you service about 300 customers a year?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
One of which is Dr. Steve Thomas, who we have interviewed a couple of times in this program before. So,
yeah.
So firearms, how many did you have and sort of what did you have? Okay,
I have 10 firearms. So I have a couple of 22s, 22 Magnum, 22 Hornet, 243, 223, 3006, 357, a 410, and a 12 gauge shotgun.
So what happened in June? Okay,
in June I had shift premises, and so basically I had come over to secure my firearms, my ammunition cabinet. And when I was in the process of doing that, the police rocked up here to check it. And, I clearly had everything there doing the job, but because my ammunition was unsecure, they have confiscated it. And now I have a court date to go and sort that out.
Okay, as a result of move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they ask you? I mean, did they try to talk about any sort of leeway? Did they give you time to comply or anything like that?
No. Basically, I said to them when he said to me about it, I said, well, I had to shift it. What was I supposed to do? Because I've got to have them out of the cabinet. At the time to be able to shift it, I can't unbolt the cabinet and bring it over and then bolt it back in with them still in it. And he's basically said to me, well, what you should have done is gone and bought another cabinet, put that in first, bought the ammunition over, put it in the other cabinet, locked it, then gone and back and got the other cabinet and bought that over. And I'm like, well, yeah.
Which leaves you with a spare cabinet, that's just not realistic. I've never known anybody to do that. I haven't done it.
No. Basically, and I said to them, well, I have not. It's not like I left them unattended. I was here. I was doing it. Whether it wouldn't be any different if I had them all out. If I was sorting them out or doing anything else, they wouldn't have been in the cabinet. If I was doing a stock take, for instance, or whatever, it still would have been the same scenario. So, it just doesn't really make sense to me.
So where's this matter at? What's the next step?
I have to go to court on the 15th of August.
Okay. And what's this done to your business?
Well, it's pretty much closed it. I haven't really been able to work. I've done a few small jobs where, a few sheep jobs, and I've done a couple of cows where, the person has been confident enough to shoot them himself. A lot of people aren't, they're quite capable of shooting something, but when it comes to shooting something in the head and killing it humanely for human consumption, a lot of people aren't really quite, they're not confident in doing that, So, yeah, that's sort of where things have sort of got a bit tricky.
So they're leaving you to tread water.
Yeah, basically.
And now on the 15th of August.
Yeah.
When they did this, was this, I've got the email from a friend of yours, Jeff Powell, who I'm grateful for, who I've also interviewed. He says that this comes down to poor interpretation of the firearm regulations.
Yeah.
Is that pretty much how it was conveyed to you?
I think so. I asked them different questions about, what I'm, especially with the new gun laws, what's supposed to be happening, and they really couldn't answer me. I've tried contacting licensing department trying to speak to people. You can't speak to anyone. There's no one there. They just keep sending you on different email journeys, which sort of leads to nowhere. No one gets back to you. So yeah, I was trying to find out, even without the this whole Siaga, just generally as a business, having, like, obviously you service different properties, and these properties may range from 10 acres to 2,000 or 3,000 acres. And with the laws and all these properties having to be registered on the portal for me to go there and to do a job for them, there's a lot of people that aren't going to do that, So there's so many grey areas, and no one can sort of answer me to exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think the issue about getting onto the portal has been sort of widely covered, but you just touched on something where farmers, people who have land, are not going to register. They're simply not going to try, and it's just making a bad situation worse.
Yeah. Not only that, I've also quite a bit of, there's people around that may have a couple of sick sheep, especially hobby farmers, or, I've done horses, I've done other animals where people, they haven't been able to get a ranger or a vet or anyone to come out and dispatch them. So they've asked me to go and do it. I don't know how that's going to be affected now either, because, a lot of these people have only got 5-acre blocks, and they don't necessarily have to be on the portal. They're not going to register. They don't want firearms of their own, but, they still expect me to, they want somebody to be able to go and dispatch these animals. No one else wants to do it. People have told me they've rang police with sick animals, hit on the road. They don't want to know about it. The Shire don't want to know about it. So, somebody has to do it. So it's sort of becoming an area where, what are we just going to leave them there? Leave them to suffer?
Joining our Patreon channel means you can see episodes of Gun News Australia as soon as they come out, which means you can see them before they're published more widely. Plus, we'll be running Friday night live streams exclusively for members. It's a great way to support our work while getting the news you want to hear. So sign up as a member at patreon.com/Politics Reloaded.
The hard part is with relicensing, like gun licenses being due, and the amount of people I've spoke to that is gun license have overdue by months, and they still haven't been able to renew their gun license. They don't know what's going on. They've had no correspondence. A good mate of mine who's got a property not far from Donnybrook here that he's got access on, who's actually owned by a lawyer, he can't even access the portal and get onto it to register his own property. So, that's someone that does this sort of stuff every day, and he can't do it.
Well, putting it another way, you can register as a lawyer in WA, but you can't get on the firearms portal. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
So now he's going down the aspects of trying to do it manually, because apparently there is a manual way you can do it. So he's going down that aspect to try and do it manually because he can't do it online.
They don't advertise that on their website. They don't actually promote it, which is...
No. And I only found that out a couple of days ago when I was actually talking to him, and he said that, this guy had tried, couldn't, and he's looked into it. And being a lawyer, he's right onto it and found out that, yeah, we can do it manually, but this is what we have to do.
It's worth calling out. If anybody's watching and they can't get on the portal, then, hassle the registry. There is a form which you can, I think they email it to you, and then you can fill it in and send it or something like that.
Yeah. And the problem is with that too, everything, this email, why isn't this form sent out in people's renewals? They send you this whole lot of rubbish out in your renewal that you have to do. Why aren't they putting this form in it so that there's multiple people that don't have access to internet and older people that don't do any of this stuff? Why isn't that been an option right from the start?
Paul Blanche, the Chief Commissioner, he's basically created a situation. My understanding is that the arrangements that have been put in place were developed by a committee of police officers, and Cole Blanche basically pulled that off them and said, no, I want to have this, that, and the other. So this is his creation, and he won't pick up. Tell me, are you, with your court case in August, have you engaged a lawyer? Or anybody?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Under the new requirements, you need property letters from landowners to do what you do.
Yeah. Yes.
And you the information I've got is that you would probably need about 1,000 property letters, because you're not going to go to every property every year.
So there's multiple different properties that I use, I service, and some of those properties have multiple property locations. So you're doing jobs on different properties, even if they're owned by the same person. So, there's a lot of different properties that you have to service, and you don't necessarily know which property you're going to be going to until, you get that call the night before, say, to say that we're here or there or wherever you may be. So it makes it very difficult that, you've got to have all these properties registered to try and go and do your job.
It's just an insane number to think about, 1,000. One butcher needing 1,000 property letters.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, I've gone onto the ag departments, and they've got their recommendations for what caliber rifles you need to kill what animals humanely. And they've got the minimum caliber, and it pretty much fits with all the calibers I have to do that job. So that's what the ag department have come up with. That's their recommendations. So, that's basically what I have to work with.
What gun limit number would apply to you?
Well, I'm actually registered as a primary producer myself, so there's 10. But I did only hear the other day that unless I get down to 7, then the new laws, you missed the grandfather law. So at the moment, I thought I was in the grandfather law, so I didn't have to reinstate my gun safes and all that sort of stuff. Turns out that if I have over 7 guns, well, then I have to go all the new laws and restrictions and saves and all that sort of stuff.
So you've got to have another safe to be able to just simply move your guns to a new property. You're going to need a new safe, and you're going to have fewer guns.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of property letters. Right.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. Now, the WA Parliament, as you know, is holding a review of the firearms legislation, and it's just finished taking submissions. And the advice I've got from Jeff was, and I think it's quite right, that this is actually a really good case study. That I really do hope that the Parliamentary Committee, Standing Committee on Legislation, I think it's called, takes note of this, because this is a really good example of how the new laws are not working.
No, that's right. And they've had, obviously they haven't put a lot. I mean, there's not only myself, there's the pest control, there's, all those sorts of people that are also going to be affected by this. Kangaroo shooters, there's a lot of people that are going to be affected by, legislation which really doesn't make any sense.
Okay, Damon Matthews, Butcher from WA, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I just hope like heck that your story gets out to the people that need to hear it.
Yep, thank you very much, and thanks for giving me the time to voice my opinion.
Not a problem. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Gun News Australia. And if you're a supporter through Patreon, you'll get access to early release of the episodes as soon as they're uploaded. And you'll also get access to our Friday night live streams. So to support our work, simply go to patreon.com/politicsreloaded or use the QR code on the screen, or see the description in this episode for details.